and welcome to Ginny's Gin Livestream. I'm Ginny, and along with my husband Rob and our dearest friends Amy and Jeff Close, we founded Ginny's Gin a few years back, and ever since the pandemic struck a year ago, we started doing these live streams, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm actually surprised that we can keep coming up with something different every week, and we do. So I'm a little casual today. I hope that's okay, and unfortunately Rob is not going to be able to join us today because he's got a pretty nasty stomach bug. We don't need to go into details, and so he is in bed, and he doesn't even want a cocktail on Friday evening, so he has to not be feeling good. So looks like I'm going to be drinking 2 cocktails tonight. So it is springtime, nearly officially tomorrow, which is March 20th, we have the spring equinox. And as you know, the spring equinox means that we have the same amount of daylight hours as night. I think equinox comes from the Latin equus, which means equal, and then nox, meaning night. So all around the world, we're all getting about 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness. So and if you want to know what due east and due west is where you live, this tomorrow will be the day to do that, because on the spring equinox the sun rises due east and sets due west, and so you'll know exactly where the west is, and as you know, that shifts with the tilt of the earth, of course. So I'm just excited that spring's around the corner. It also means, I think spring means rebirth and renewal, and I think hope, I think too, because now that we're coming out of our pandemic and people are getting vaccinated, and it turns out that we're getting through this, and it just looks like things are getting better. So this is a pretty good spring, I think, for all of us. So the cocktails I'm doing again are seasonal. As you know, we only do seasonal ingredients. That's what we love doing. And I kind of fell in love with those kumquats. And so I'm actually going to do 2 cocktails because Rob's not joining. I'll do both cocktails, and they're both with this really cute little kumquat. And these are the Mandarin ones. I think I mentioned last week that the kumquat, it's native to China. It was originally grown in China. It's all over Asia now. Of course, it's everywhere now. But in Mandarin, it's actually jinjiu, and which means it sort of represents, or it means gold, or gold and just wealth, I suppose. So I'm liking that, with the equinox and renewal and all things, coming together. So we're excited. So I'm going to go into the first cocktail, and I did look up to see what kumquats, what the flavor profile is, what it goes well with, with the flavor Bible that we use so much. And one of the things was ginger. Ginger was highlighted. And I just happen to love ginger with citrus. I think it goes really well. And I've made this lovely, it's a syrup. It's 1 part sugar to 1 part water. And then I added slices of ginger and slices of the kumquat. And it has this wonderful aroma, and it's really extracted, the ginger and the kumquat. And I think it's super healthy as well. So since we don't have a lot of health in the house right now, poor Rob, and I actually have one of those annoying styes in my eye. So if my eye looks a little red, it's on the inside of my lower lid. It's really annoying me, but hopefully you can't see it. So I'm just going to kill it with kindness with gin and kumquats and ginger. So what I'm going to do with the first cocktail, how to extract the kumquat and the flavors, the juice, I'm actually going to take a few of these syrupy kumquats, and I'm going to put them in the bottom of my shaker, in this case my jar. I'm going to do like 3 or 4, because I want to really get that flavor out. There we go. And then I already took some of the syrup out, so I have that. And I'm going to take, let's see, what am I going to do here? I'm going to do 2 ounces of the Kumquat ginger syrup. So, because what I'm doing is, no, I'm going to do 1 ounce, I'm sorry. I'm going to double the recipe because it's a rather large glass. So I'm just going to do 1 ounce and see what it's like, because I don't want to make it too sweet. I can always add if I need to. I mean, I just love the flavours of this, but... So let's do 1 ounce of the Kumquat ginger syrup. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my muddler and I'm going to muddle those kumquats to get just even a little bit more out of the syrup. So going back to the syrup, so what I did is I put, let's say a cup of, actually I think I did a half a cup of syrup, half a cup of sugar, half a cup of water, and I brought it to a boil, and then I threw in the slices of ginger, slices of kumquat, and I let them simmer for about 20 minutes, and then I just took them off the heat and I let them steep until they were cool, and then I just put them in the fridge, and I've had them in the fridge for a couple of days now, and they'll last in the fridge, you know, for a week or so, depending on how quickly you want to use it, obviously. All right, so that's nicely muddled. I think we've got some nice flavours out of that now. And then I'm going to add the gin, most importantly. And I'm going to do 4 ounces of gin, because I'm doubling this recipe because I have a big glass. And there we go. So there's 2 and 4. There we go. So 4 ounces of Ginny's gin. There we are. And in this recipe, it calls for Lillet Rose, you know, the pink version of the Lillet. I only have the regular, but it tastes perfectly fine with this as well. So I'm just going to do 2 ounces of the Lillet. There we go. 2 ounces. Voila. And Lillet is a vermouth. We've talked about that before, obviously, but it doesn't have to be Lillet. You could use another vermouth, that's fine as well. And then I'm going to add in some ice and give it a good shake, all right? There we go. You know, we have Easter around the corner. It seems like this year is going by incredibly quickly. I don't know if it is for you guys, but it is for me. So we have Easter coming up next. So I think the next couple of weeks, what we'll do is we will put together some nice, maybe a couple of Easter brunch cocktails, and maybe we're using some carrots, some seasonal stuff. But we'll do some fun stuff, maybe some egg whites and what have you, and we'll do that in time for Easter. So you have those cocktails ready as well. All right, we're going to give it a good shake. Exercise. Okay, so you know, for us, obviously, the now after the spring equinox, we're going to have more daylight and more hours of sunshine. But obviously, the southern hemisphere is going into their fall, and they're going to be looking forward to nights in front of the fire and all that good stuff. So, okay, so now I am going to strain it into a coupe or any cocktail glass, an elegant cocktail glass that you have. So it's a really pretty colour as well. And funnily enough, it's very on brand with the yellow. So there it is. And I think I am just going to float or put a couple of the syrupy, there we go, kumquat slices in there, like that. So this one I am going to call Ginny's Ginger Jinjuo, which is the Mandarin for kumquat. So that's the first one. And you know, with cocktails, there are different ways, obviously, of imparting flavors. So whether you're muddling or mixing or you're putting in a syrup or what have you. So the next one, we're going to use the kumquats, but this time I'm actually going to take the fresh kumquats and I'm going to halve them and I'm going to muddle them into the mixing glass. So this one we did it through infusing the simple syrup with the kumquat and the ginger. In this case, we're going to take the fresh kumquats and we're going to muddle them. So I'm going to take 3 or 4 kumquats and I'm going to halve them like this. And I've got a fairly big one here. Let's do that. And one more. Let's see, there we go. That one. Okay, so there they are in the bottom. And I'm just going to give them a muddle, the fresh ones. And I mentioned last time, you know, because it means gold or wealth, you know, the Mandarin for kumquat, golden orange. New Year's, Chinese New Year, is when you see them all over the place because, and I think people gift them as well, you know, hoping that they will have a prosperous New Year. Okay, so there's my muddled kumquats, and now I'm going to take 2 ounces of Ginny's gin. There we go. It's such a wonderful smell. The aroma is just so great. And none of us in this household are getting scurvy anytime soon. Obviously we use lemons and we use mandarin oranges and we use any kind of citrus that's in season right now. So last thing we're going to get is scurvy. But there we go. All right, and then I'm going to do an ounce of freshly squeezed lemon. And here's my lemon squeezer. Okay, so 1 ounce. I'm not going to get it entirely out of that half, so I have to do a little bit more here. Just depends on the lemon and how juicy they are. Okay, there is my 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon, and that can be mild or regular. There we go. All right, and in this particular recipe, it calls for Luxardo maraschino liqueur. So you've all heard of the maraschino cherries, obviously. This is actually a liqueur, and it's Italian. And I'm going to put, let me see, what am I putting in here? I'm going to put ½ ounce. And this sort of changes the colour a little bit too. There we go. All right, so there's the maraschino liqueur. And I'm just going to add some ice, and I'm going to stir, shake it up and make it nice and cold. Okay, there we go. Dilute it. And as we've said before, you know, when you're doing this at home and if you have time, is to put your cocktail glasses in the freezer and your shakers in the freezer and everything, so that everything stays nice and cold. You do not want to dilute and warm up your cocktail quickly. You want it to stay nice and cold for as long as possible. So that's the plan. Okay, I'm shaking it up. Nice and cold. Okay, there we go. And I think you've seen me do this before, but when we use one of these glasses, whether you call it a rocks glass or, you know, I love this one. It's got a really nice heavy base. It's really fun just to put one large spherical ice cube in there. So I have one of those. Pop that in like that. And I'm going to strain it with my strainer, which is right here. Okay. Another great colour. Alright, there it is. So just 2 different ways of extracting the flavour from the kumquats. So whether it's a syrup or whether it's just muddling the fresh ones. Interesting, the different colours. And then for the garnish, I just used the bar pin and popped, there we go, the slices of kumquat right there. And guess what? I get to drink both of these now. It's husband's in bed. Max is gone. think I might put some nice music on and maybe sit outside. We've got a little sunshine today, and make my way through these 2 cocktails. So as I mentioned, so Easter obviously is coming up soon, so we'll have some great Easter brunch cocktails for you. We'll do something frothy with some egg white and what have you. And oh, I know what we should do. We'll do something with like a Ginny's version of what's that brunch one with the bacon and the tomato juice. I'm drawing a blank. I'm obviously a little off my game today. Anyway, it is what it is. So thank you for watching. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week. And look forward to it. And everybody enjoy the spring equinox. Make sure that you look tomorrow and see where due west is. And enjoy the day. And we'll see you next week. Okay, take care. Bye.